Hi students, today we're going to be introduced to a music software that's free online, and you're going to be using this program for several assignments through this semester and probably second semester as well. So today's an introductory video just to get you started in the program so you can do whatever your next assignment is. So in the browser, you're going to type in flat, that's F-L-A-T, .io, and I'll probably have that linked in Canvas as well. So once you've done that and the website comes up, you'll see that there's a place where you can just sign up using Google. Now, I already have an account, so for me, I'm going to click on it and it's immediately going to bring me up into my own account. But if you are doing this for the first time, you'll have to answer just a handful of questions about your age, and that's just there so that if you have the opportunity to look at music, and I think it's making sure you don't look at inappropriate music. It will also ask you a question about whether or not you're a student or a professional, so you'll click student, and then it will ask you whether or not you want to receive emails from Flat, and you'll probably want to say no. So I'm just going to click on it, and it's going to log me in right away. And from now on, anytime you do log in, all you'll have to do is click use my Google account, and it'll automatically bring you up to your page. So I'm going to show you, just so that you have the information, how to create a new piece of music. I believe if it's your very first time, it probably will automatically send you to a new score. But if you've been in here before, you'll want to click on the new score button up here. A score, by the way, is basically a piece of sheet music with like multiple stabs. It's the full piece of a music. So I'm going to click on a new score. We're going to give it a name. Just for today, I'll call it score for video for demonstration. Okay. And then you'll see that it's going to give you some instrument options. And if you pick an instrument sound, just be aware that whatever clef shows up automatically and whatever sound the computer plays back is going to match that instrument. So most of the time, we're probably going to deal with, under keyboards, the piano. So I'm going to click on that for today. But if you wanted to, you can at some point play around with other instruments that are in here. String instruments, fake voices, kazoo. Okay, so let's just create for right now using the piano. Oh, I should say, let's say I did add a tenor and I decided I don't want the tenor. So then you click the minus button and it goes away. Okay, so the default, once you've created a blank composition, a blank score, is for an empty measure with rests in our 4/4 time signature, which is the most common time signature, and just one measure. So I know for sure I'm going to want more than one measure. So up here, you'll notice there are 6 different options, 6 different headings. So if you click on measure, then you have the option right here of adding a measure. Okay, so right now I'm going to give myself 4 measures. And you can also see, if you change your mind, you can take away a measure. You could also hypothetically change your clef. Like, let's say I wanted both the top and the bottom to be a treble clef. So you can click on clef, or you can just click right on it and it'll give you the option of changing it to treble. But I'm going to go ahead and keep it bass. You also have the options here to deal with your key signature and your time signature. So let's say for today, we're actually writing a composition in the key of F. So I'm going to click my 1 flat. There it shows up there. And then let's also say I'm not going to be writing in 4/4, but I'm going to be writing in 3/4. Okay. So I made all those little changes. Now I do want to point out the measure, adding a measure, I believe you do have to do that from this tab. But if I wanted to change the time signature, I actually could just click on it. Same thing with the clef and the key signature. Great. So right now we have 4 empty measures with quarter rests in them. Let's go ahead and pretend like all we wanted to do today was write the F major scale. Oh, and notice I accidentally clicked my clef wrong. So let's fix that. Okay, so let's say I wanted to write the F major scale. So there's a few ways you can input notes. One, the most obvious way, is to take like the quarter right there and click on it and then actually put the note in. You can see this little blue thing is identifying where that note's going to go. So now I have a quarter note F. Let's say I want to do it some other way. So another way you could insert notes, you can click on this keyboard button and then you have a piano screen that shows up. And that's the upper octave F. Or I could play the lower octave F, G, A, B flat, which remember is a black key because it's a flat note, C, D, E, F. Let's say on accident I had played B natural. I had played the white key. So notice that once I do that, the natural sign automatically shows up. Okay? Because in the key signature, the note is supposed to be B flat. So let's fix it. All right. Now, let's say instead that I actually didn't want the F major scale on quarter notes. I wanted them on eighth notes. So I can go back. You can see all of your different rhythm options up here. And I can click on the eighth note instead. And once I've selected eighth notes, anything I play on the piano from here on is going to be an eighth note. Actually, that wasn't exactly true because right here there was already a quarter, so it just kept it a quarter. Okay, let's suppose that I didn't want to deal with the piano because I'm not very comfortable with the piano yet. So you also, instead of just putting the notes in with like your mouse hovering over the note, you also can instead type in the letter on your typing keyboard. So like right now, I'm typing the note F. Now I also want to point out, if you start putting in rhythms that go beyond the measures you've already put in, the program will just add more measures. So right now I'm just typing the note, the key F, and it's just adding in all those measures. Okay, so let's say I put all that in and I'm like, oh, I don't like this. This is terrible. So you can select a note, press delete or backspace, just like you would if you were typing letters in a Word document. Start typing delete or backspace, and it'll just start deleting what you put in, and it'll turn it into a rest. So notice it doesn't make it go away. It doesn't make the measure become empty. It just turns the note into a rest because your measures always have to have the correct number of beats in them. So if it's not a pitch, then it's going to be a rest. Okay, so I'm deleting all of those really fast. All right, so now we're back to a bunch of empty measures. Now, you'll notice, however, because I put in all those notes, now they're rests and they look terrible because you would never see a piece of music with a bunch of empty eighth rests. So the next question is, how do we turn those rests into one big measure rest? So when you go back up here, if a thing is already a rest, you can click on a value up here and it will change the rest to that value. Okay, and then we would want that to be a full measure. So remember in 3/4, a full measure is equal to 3 beats, and 3 beats would be a half note with a dot. And that now it becomes a whole rest. It takes up the whole measure. Half note with a dot. Okay, so those are different ways that you can work with this program. So let's just again do an example of something. Let's go back here, and let's say I wanted to put in and then switch to the quarter note. And I should also mention, let's say I put in the note A, you can use your forward and backwards arrows on your keyboard as well. So like right now, I'm just typing in forward and backwards with my keyboard. So let's say you put in the note A and you really meant to put in a C. You can, of course, hover over the note, or you can select the note and just move it up. Okay, so now it's on the note C. So let's say now you want to hear what you wrote. So you go back to the first note, and then you press play, and it's going to click off. And then it's just going to play the rests because there's nothing else left. So then you could click stop. Okay. So that's kind of the basics of everything. Now, suppose you finished all of that and you want to share it with me. You want me to be able to see what you wrote for your assignment. So it's very simple. You just go to the share button right up here. You click on copy private shareable link. and then that link will automatically copy to your clipboard. So it's already copied, and then you would just go into your Canvas assignment and you would click paste, which the shortcut for that, by the way, is Control V. And once you've done that, then it will copy the assignment in. So that's the introduction to this program. If you have any questions, let me know. You can also play around with a lot of the other features that are in here, like adding staccatos and accents and fermatas, adding in trills. You can add dynamics. And oh, I forgot to mention, this is kind of important actually, if you want to add text to it. So the shortcut, by the way, if you just want to start typing in lyrics, is Control L. Control L allows you to immediately start typing in. So this, and then the space bar sends you to the next note, is a song for class. Right? And I just typed that in using my regular typing keyboard with the space bar to advance me to the next note. So there you go. Thanks so much. Let me know if you have questions.